Airsoft at its core is all about looking good. Having the Gucci gear is only half the battle. The other half is knowing. In this case, which is the super hot camo pattern that's totes on trend this season. As an airsofter with an eye for sartorial elegance, I feel that I am more than qualified to let you know what the top 5 hottest patterns are right now. So that is what I'm about to do. Let's take a look at the top 5 camo patterns that Magaz is quite into, not in that way, but they are pretty legit. A camouflage pattern that has had a lot of love over the years from myself and the guys in the team is Fleck. At one point it was the standard go-to gear for the whole team, which is one of the reasons it had to earn a place in the top 5. Fleck, an amalgamation of the words Fleck or spot and Tarnung or camouflage, is a pattern developed in Germany throughout the 70s, with the final pattern being confirmed in the late 80s. It consists of spots of 5 different colours, being black, dark green, brown, light green and grey green, spattered over each other in layers, kind of like raindrops. It is often said that the pattern takes some inspiration from the World War II German P pattern. For use in arid environments, a colour-swapped desert pattern called Wüstenton, often referred to as Troppenton, which more commonly refers to the cut of the shirt, similar to the ACU-UCP mix-up. Wüstenton or Dreifarb-Tarndruck is a tri-colour pattern with dark green and brown over a tan base. I ran a mixture of Fleckton and Wüstenton at an event at the Mill in Wigan a while back, and it looked great matched together. Recently I picked up a set of Cry-Cut Gen 3 trousers from Roman Kermaz in Fleckton. They are amazing pantaloons that I'll be wearing in the field at some point this season. Depending on the temperature, it will either be paired with an Invader Gear U-back shirt or a genuine issue parka. In 4th place is a family of patterns that at one point in my life I thought looked rather childish and toy-like, but as I matured, so did my taste, and as a result, Ascam has found its way into this top 5 list. Ascam, or as it's officially titled, DPCU, Disruptive Pattern Combat Uniform, was first tested in the early 80s and is designed to mimic the natural camouflage abilities of the Australian native drop bear, which is a wild animal not actually in the bear family that drops from trees onto unsuspecting victims, often fatally wounding the animal or person it attacks. DPCU features jellybean and bunny-shaped splotches of various colours over an olive green background. The shape of the pattern has given DPCU the nicknames Jellybean Camo and Bunny Cam, although it is more commonly called Ascam. For use in arid environments, there is of course a desert colourway called DPDU. Yeah, you guessed it, that D stands for desert. There are a number of other colourway variations for different branches of the military, including a super rare pattern designed for use in military training exercises to dictate which team is the opposing force. The pattern is essentially DPDU with red and rust brown colours inserted into the mix. It looks great and would be a real fashion statement if you turn up to an event rocking a full set of enemy cam BDUs, or even better, a set of Cry-Cut G3s from Kermaz Gear. M90 is a very distinct pattern that takes more than a little inspiration from one of the earliest camouflage patterns fielded by the German army in the Second World War, namely here's Splittermuster or Army Splinter pattern, which is a pattern made up of green and brown angled shapes splintered over a dark ochre background with a series of raindrops in a darker green scattered over the top. M90 takes the concept laid down by Splittermuster and refines it. The pattern takes similar splinter formations in both dark and light olive green over a light ochre base, broken up with patches of black, and eliminates the raindrops from the design. A similar camouflage concept was used to disguise the direction of travel of large military ships, often called dazzle camouflage, the idea being the series of shapes and patterns create an optical illusion that makes it very difficult to assess which direction the ship is facing. For use in temperate environments such as the Middle East theatres, an arid version of M90 called M90K was released in 2004, almost identical to the original but using a switched colour palette of subdued olive green, dark brown and light brown over a tan base. This version of the M90 camouflage pattern is the one that takes the 3rd spot. An Arctic version of M90 is also used as an oversuit to give added camouflage to troops engaged in snowball fights and making snow angels. Again, it is a switched out colour palette using lighter grey splinter shapes over a white base. It looks pretty legit. M90K is another pattern that is on my list of, dear Roman, please make me a pair of super legit pantaloons in this pattern, so you can probably expect to see me wearing it in some of my gameplay footage in the not too distant future. Second place goes to a pattern that has found its way back into mainstream culture quite recently, and for good reason. US Night Desert or Grid pattern, or more commonly called DNC, was a pattern issued to the US forces in the Gulf War designed to confuse and camouflage the wearer from early Soviet night vision equipment. It was issued in oversized pants and a thigh-length parka, which is where it often picks up the nickname Night Parka. It was promptly made obsolete as night vision technology improved. It is still a great looking pattern that over the past couple of years has seen quite a revival in the Gucci gear scene, with the Redback Company, O241 Tactical, TMC and Flash Force Industries all making their own unique and exciting products, and the legendary Kermaz gear has been seen to produce Spirited style rigs, Gen 3 gear and other items in the pattern. One of my favourite examples of creativity with this pattern at the moment is from the Instagram account Hanlatassa, who, along with creating Spirited style chest rigs, has been modifying classic parkas into a modern cut called the Crust Cut, which entails cropping the jacket in length, lining the inside, adding pockets and other features. I took it upon myself to grab the sewing machine and make my own version of the Crust Cut parka recently. At the time of this list, it isn't quite complete, but I have cropped it to waist length, added a shot cord drawstring to the waist, a big tough zipper, added actual pockets inside the flaps that would have been used to provide access to your BDU shirt when worn underneath, removed the elastic from the cuffs, adding a velcro tightening strap to each cuff, and added pockets to the shoulders. I have yet to decide what colour to line the inside with, but I'll be making a full video on that garment when it's finished, so yeah, stay tuned for that, and DNG is definitely pretty legit. A pattern that most people recognise from its use throughout the Vietnam War is Tiger Stripe. Originally seen worn by South Vietnamese troops as locally made copies of the French lizard pattern, and later by US advisors and Gucci special operations guys like Mac V Sog, it is a distinct pattern emulating the stripes of a tiger. The clue's in the name really. In shades of green, brown, tan and black, or in some cases a dark blue. A number of variants of the pattern in the woodland colourway exist. Outside of the classic Vietnam era patterns, which are without a doubt the ones that will spring to mind when the words Tiger Stripe are mentioned, many other countries have made their own versions, including the Philippines, Russia, Greece and Ecuador, who use variants with red and orange amongst the stripes. More modern variants of the Tiger Stripe pattern include the ABU or Airman's Battle Uniform, which for some reason was originally very blue and later redesigned to be similar in colour to the US Army's UCP pattern, but in a digitised Tiger Stripe design. All-Terrain Tiger, which emulates the multicam colour palette, and Desert Tiger Stripe, which is the pattern I'm putting in first place. With its rich dark brown, golden brown and beige over a sandy brown background, Desert Tiger is a commercial pattern from Tiger Stripe products that has seen service again, with Gucci AFSF guys in Afghan and private security contractors, anti-poaching rangers and airsofters alike, and curiously, some members of the Afghan army. It is a beautiful pattern that I originally picked up as a set of enhanced BDUs and a shirt from Bull through fleckton.co.uk, and more recently I opted to run the pattern in the Flash Force Industries Gen 3 Cry style set and an O241 Tactical Operator's pullover. My daily carry bag is a Kermaz Gear Gen 2 minimap in the pattern, and one of my go-to face masks at the moment is an O241 face cover, also in Desert Tiger Stripe. Desert Tiger is a pattern that I have loved for a very long time. It's not often seen on the field and blends in great in the summer months in long grass, and exceptionally well at CQB sites against the OSB board walls most places are constructed from. So there we have it, the top 5 camo patterns that I find a bit cool. Is there one that I missed off the list? Would you have placed them in a different order? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments and hit subscribe to see when the next video goes live. Thanks for watching, and as always kids, the air may be soft, but our balls are hard.